Hello, 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 hello. All right, as usual, just getting myself situated. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Keith K.L. Belvin here, crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, and educational consultant. I know it's been a little while, but I wanted to come on. I've actually taken a break from social media, but I did want to come live today because there's been a few Fridays that I've missed. I've been studying. I have a state exam coming up in about 20 days, 21 days. And so it's going to be connected to my business. So I need to make sure that I am prepared for that. Um, and really, just since my vacation, just really been focusing on how do I strengthen the business? How do I strengthen myself? Hello, Cheryl. How are you? Good to see you. And so, but I'm not completely amiss from everything that's going on. And I've been noticing this conversation coming up about Black men, men of color, about being emotionally distant and not seeking professional help, therapy, professional counseling, anything along those lines. And I have to be honest, it is true, but not just men of color, but men in general, but more so men of color. But the thing I think that has been bothering me the most is when I see women of color attacking, and I'm not attacking women, I'm just saying, because I work mostly with women, attacking men of color for things that they may not understand that men of color deal with. And then in turn, the problem I have is men of color attacking sisters for their position. And I try to explain to brothers that women are bearing a whole lot of weight, bro. You can't go at the sisters if you have not checked yourself. If you have not made sure you or the brothers in your circle are emotionally and mentally okay, how are you going to go at sisters when they're only expressing how they feel? Now, what the point that I'm getting at is that the middle is where we have to be. Sisters are hurting badly. Men are hurting badly, and not one hurts more than the other. But we got to find a way to come to the middle if we're going to fix it, especially when you add color to the mix. The minute that you say men of color, women of color, you now have to take the other nuances that go with that and bring that to the mix. Often I don't see that. And I've noticed on social media, we're not asking or going deeper in our query. And there's so much misinformation, it is driving me crazy. And I don't feel it's my position to try to tackle all the misinformation. No, 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 no. I'd mess around and go crazy. But what I try to do is, from my position, my platform, offer counter to some of the foolishness that I see and hear. And so, with that said, again, I want to thank you for wherever you're watching me from, whether it's LinkedIn, if you're watching me from Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. I appreciate you. I was over on TikTok earlier, and I realized that I don't know how long I'll be on TikTok, only because I can't deal with censorship. I say let a person say what they're going to say. We'll figure it out. Intelligent people will gather together and do whatever. But when you start saying this is negative conversation and you're not listening to the full conversation, there's nothing to be gained. So I don't know how long I'm going to stay on that app, but it is what it is. Good morning, brother Jose. Good morning, my brother. Peace. Yeah, well, peace and blessings to you as well. So shout out to you and Cheryl for being here with me. Okay, let's get this started because I want to cover a couple different areas. And I will gladly answer any questions that you have, male, female, whatever, fire away. If you have questions about men and their emotions, feel free, because I am a man as well as I am a professional. And so I have a little idea of what needs to be done. So I'm here for that. Okay, let me get this straight. All right, there we go. Don't mind my dirty office. All right, so Good morning, Shonda. How are you? And so one of the first things I want to do before I get into the emotional part of men being um, emotional, I want you to understand what happiness is, because I don't know if people really understand what happiness is. And I ask this question in my counseling sessions: what makes you happy? And happy is the context of mental and emotional states. The context. It is positive or pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy. So when you see the measure of what happiness is, two things can be happening at the same time and both be perceived as happiness. Being content and intense joy are two totally different things, but they make up being happy. So some people, if you ask them, are you happy? And they say yes, and you go, you don't look it based on whose scale. If they're content, that's a form of happiness. But when people lie to me and say I'm living my best life, and then in the counseling sessions I realize they're not, I have to fix that. Now, unfortunately for a lot of men, I don't know if a lot of brothers understand what happiness is. I don't know if a lot of brothers are content. And I definitely know a lot of brothers are not experiencing intense joy because they're not expressing it. They were taught not to express it. They were taught not to be emotional. The world does not, the world punishes a man for being overtly emotional. His friends punish him if he's overtly emotional. His mother, so ladies, please take note. Mothers punish their sons for being overly emotional. Fathers punish their sons for being overly emotional. Now, add skin color to that, and you have boulders being dropped on young men of color when those same boulders are being dropped on all young men about being emotional. And let me tell you something, as a former educator, 22 years in New York City Department of Education, there's nothing worse than watching a young man in a situation where he should be emotional, fighting with himself to not be emotional because that's what he was trained to do. He's crying and trying to stop himself from crying all at the same time. You literally can see the physical negative disposition. We all have become too content at some point of our lives, especially at our age. Yes, thank you so much, Cheryl. That is true. And this is why we have to have conversations. That's why I brought up the whole censorship with TikTok, because if TikTok is going to limit what people can say, then you're limiting how people converse, which is how we have to learn from each other. We have to learn by having what may seem like very difficult conversations. Now, for me, as a professional counselor, my job is to get to the problem, assess the problem, and figure out a way to help people get past that problem, and then give them a way to create, or together create a plan that's going to help you to sustain the growth that we were able to put together, and then teach you how to maintain that, how to maintenance that, so you don't go backwards, so there isn't a regression. This is what I do. Okay. And so, with that said, I want to just go over some things, and I want to show you how some men and Jose, because right now you're the brother that I can see, and any of the men that's watching, feel free to join in the chat if I hit on something that is something that you do. Okay, because it's important. Because I'm here and I'll offer myself, but I always like to hear from the brothers. So feel free. And ladies, if you have seen men do the things that I'm talking about, just respond in the chat. That lets me know. So before we get started, tell me where you're seeing me from in terms of where are you, what states. I always like to know what states we got today. I know where some of you are from, but I would love to hear. I know Jose, I think, is New York, and I believe Sister Shonda is South Carolina, I believe it is. And Cheryl, where are you from? I'd love to know. Put it in the chat for me. Go ahead and drop it in. That's also a way that you can interact with me. That way I know that we're having a conversation. It's just not me talking at you. But by all means, drop where you're from in the chat. Would love to know. And while we get ready to do that, I want to talk about these are some of the aspects that men dismiss, right? Hempstead, there we go. All right, there we go, Sean. I knew it was South Carolina. I wasn't sure. I wasn't going to throw out the wrong thing. Plus, I don't want to talk too much. I don't need nobody trying to stalk you down there. Orlando, love it. Oh, I haven't been to Florida in so long. Love it, love it, love it. How y'all dealing with all that rain down there? I went to Tampa once, and Lord, it seemed like it rained every day. Okay, so here's some of the things that men dismiss. And ladies and gentlemen, Jose as well. Please put a 1 in the chat if you have seen men do this, or you have seen this in your sons, your fathers, your brothers, husbands, whoever. All right. Men, number 1, and you can follow along. You can drop it in the chat for me. That way, if anybody's following us, they can pick up from where we started. Number 1, men ignore their feelings. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen that men will ignore their feelings. When you know they should be hurting, when you know that something is wrong, you will literally see men ignore their feelings. And they will lie and say, I am okay. The most dangerous words on the planet. You all right? I'm good. I'm okay. No, you are not. Brother James, what's going on, Brother James? Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the 1. Men will say, they will ignore their feelings. They will say, I'm okay. Now, let me tell you something for the brothers watching. We have to start changing that in our circle. Sisters, too. Let the men around you, brothers and sisters, listen to me. Let the men around you know it is okay not to be okay. Number 2, all right, way that men dismiss their emotional positionings. They believe it's more important only to be positive and not dwell on the negative. Now, I'm not excluding the sisters today. I don't want the sisters attacking me saying, well, we sisters go through that too. I know. I'm dealing with the men today. Sisters, I work with y'all every day. This is for the brothers. So please don't attack me saying, how come you not talking about the sisters? I love y'all. And I'm here to help you. Okay. Well, please come back and watch the replay. I would love to know your thoughts and enjoy. Sorry, I can't have you here longer, but I appreciate you being here, Cheryl. But definitely come back and let me know what you think about the list, and we'll definitely connect again. I'll be here every Friday. I'm going to try to make sure I do that. Okay, believe it's more important only to be positive and not dwell on the negative. Put a 1 if you have seen men say, nah, I'm only focusing on the positive. I don't focus on the negative. And let me tell you, you got to focus on the things that are wrong. You have to. Many men will say, I only focus on the positive. That is a red flag, believe it or not. Because you have to address what is wrong. You have to. Now, sisters, this is where you are incredibly important to men. Your ability to fix problems, your ability to practice empathy is so needed that when many of us brothers are in a bad state, we turn to our women because you have a natural God-given ability to help calm that fire when it's out of control inside of us. So men will say, believe it is only important to focus on the positive and not dwell on the negative. As we talked about, that is a negative issue. Number 3, men become highly intolerant towards feeling sad, angry, scared, etc. They will not allow themselves. They won't even talk about it. And if they find themselves drifting into positions of being sad, angry, or scared, you can literally physically watch them fight with themselves. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen that. Because I have. And I've done that years ago. And sometimes catch myself doing that now because I don't want to allow myself to get as emotional. But I can tell anybody watching, please listen to me. I'm a man of God. I have learned when I am fighting with things internally, I take it to my faith. I literally have open conversations with my deity, my God. I'm not saying that's what everybody has to do because you may not believe what I believe. But this is where faith is critical for me. I will turn and talk to God to get those emotions out, and then I'll talk to my wife as well. Because I know I can't hold on to that. I know that if I keep that, it can be a problem. So true. They hate being wrong. Thank you, Shonda. And it is very critical that you explain to the men around you, the men in your lives, male or female, I don't care who you are listening. It is critical that you explain to the men around you, it is okay to be sad. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be scared. It does not make you less of a man. because that has been baked into the cake so much that men will not. They will fight it. So we have to work on that. The next one. Here's a big one. So when you want to know why he's staying out of the house and why he bowls so much or why he's always at the club or why he's always somewhere. Number 4, men try to distract themselves from their emotions. Again, put a 1 in the chat if you have seen this. Men try to distract themselves from their emotions. Often, well, let me take that back. In many cases, those distractions are negative. They will choose negative distractions instead of dealing with their emotions. Drinking, smoking, hypersexuality, strip clubs, many other facets that are negative. Now, some men will turn to their ladies. Some men will turn to their friends. Some men will turn to other they will go to the gym and work it out. They'll go bowling. They'll do something positive. But at the end of the day, if you do not deal with whatever is wrong, it does not go anywhere. You cannot work it out away. You cannot bowl it away. It has to be addressed. And if the distractions that you are creating are negative, you are creating more of a problem. You cannot sex away your issues. You cannot drink away your issues. And ladies, if any of these things are hitting home with you, well, then understand you got to open up too. This is why I'm here for men and women. I work mostly with women, but I'm here for the dudes too. And if anything that I'm hitting on are things that you need, well, this is why you might need to set up a counseling session with me and stop playing. Working all the time without taking a vacation, never. Yes, listen. Do you know I went on my first vacation this year? It took 2. First time since 2008 that I actually just took time off, took a couple weeks off. I'm still in the midst of vacation. I still haven't got back fully. Since 2008, 14 years, I hadn't taken a vacation. And here I am trying to help people. And I just didn't take the time off. Never again. We're not doing that. All right, moving on to the next one. And I'll go back over these if anybody has missed them. And again, if you're just joining me, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, educational consultant. And today we're talking about why men aren't emotionally open and don't seek therapeutic help. I'm just going through a list of the things that men dismiss when considering and dealing with their emotions. We are on a list of, I think, 11 things with this particular area. And I think I'm on number 4 or 5, but I will go back over them if you just jumped on and you're new here. And again, if you are new and you just popped on, come in and say hello and tell me where you're seeing me from, which state. So far, we had Orlando, South Carolina, and New York. So by all means, let me know. All right, here we go. Next one that men do to dismiss their emotions. They try very, 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 very hard to to dismiss sadness. I'm sorry, let me back up a second because I'm getting too mixed up. Okay, here we go. This one is here. They dismiss sadness as weakness. Put a 1 in the chat if you have seen men consider sadness as weakness. Literally say, I ain't weak like that. I ain't got no time to being sad. I ain't no weak, and they just whatever derogatory terms they want to say. Where men literally think that being sad is being weak. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this. And again, this is very important. And ladies and gentlemen, again, the reason why I'm going over this list is if we can identify it, we can help it. Your ex. Okay, got you. Many men. Thank you, Tamari. And Tamari, I believe, is Massachusetts, correct? They say, I'm not solved. Very true, Shonda. Yes. Many men, they'll say, I'm not solved. They automatically equate sadness with weakness. And then when I point out to some of my brothers that Jesus wept because he was sad for the way that Mary was feeling about her brother Lazarus dying after she had called Jesus to come. So you're going to tell me Jesus was weak? And I use that because, again, y'all know that I'm a Christian counselor as well. And I try to show them that Moses was sad. People were sad. It's okay to be sad. It's perfectly naturally and normal to be sad. And to any men watching who just doesn't want to say anything, I feel you, brothers. Share this with some brothers that need to see it, and I'm going to tell you why. We'll get to the whole liking and sharing at the end. We have to regulate that. Make it regular. Make it okay to be not okay. You don't have to be okay every day. And being sad is okay. You have a reason to be sad. If somebody died, if you lost your job, if you're not where you should be in your life, if you're just feeling down, it's okay to be sad. Do you know how many times I have cried in this office? Do you know how many times that I have cried in here and then went and laid my head down next to my wife because I didn't have the answers at that moment? There's nothing weak about me. But I'm okay with being sad because I have to be. Because if I don't, I can't be a father that I'm supposed to be. I can't be the husband I'm supposed to be. I can't be the man of God that I'm supposed to be if I don't allow myself to be sad. Because I don't have all the answers. And I'm a professional. And it's okay. There's nothing weak about that. And I want you to take that in and take that to any man who needs it. And when you hear a man go, I'm not sure, and I ain't going to be sad because I ain't sure, stop him and say, no, it's tougher to be sad and deal with it than to lie to yourself. You tell him Big Keith said so. All right, moving on to the next one. A lot of men try to dismiss their emotions by controlling or hiding their anger. A lot of men who get angry with their emotional position try to control it or hide it. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this. And the reason why it's important that we identify, good morning, Sharice, how are you? The reason why it's important that we identify these things is because this is where we can start to help those who need help. This is how we help our brothers, by identifying the things that brothers are doing which are hurting themselves. This is how we can get brothers to counseling. This is how we can get brothers to turn to therapy. This is how we do the things that we need to do, because if we do not, then we actually put ourselves in a bad position to actually fix them. We have to change that. To get anybody help, they have to first accept and understand that they need help. We do that by identifying the problem to be able to show them that there is a problem. That's what I do. That's what I do as a counselor. That's one of the things that I do very well, is to show you what the problem looks like and then say, I am here to help you fix it. You just don't tell somebody, yo, it's wrong. And then you don't explain to them what you're going to do to fix it. You got to acknowledge what you're seeing so they can come to the table with it themselves. All right. Moving on, after we see that. Now, here's a big one, and I think everybody's going to agree, but put a 1 in the chat if you agree that men hide all their feelings. Men hide their feelings. Do you notice that some men don't even want to see when they're happy, except when they're playing sports or when they're having sex? Yeah, I said it. When they're having sex, they want you to see all the emotion. When they're in some type of sporting event, they want you to see all the emotion. Everything in between, they get quiet. They get quiet. And if the sex is not going well, they fight with themselves to hide their emotion there too. And when the sporting event is not going well, they try to hide the emotion or the sadness of it not going well. But when it's going well, the sex and the sports, oh, they want you to see it. They bump their chests all they want, and some dudes will dance around the bedroom naked when things is going well. Let things turn around and it didn't go that well. Some men don't even know how to take that in. They automatically assume the worst. And the crazy part is when women have said, no, it was good. No, you're lying, because inside their head, they're fighting with emotion than actually the reality of what is. So the only way to deal with that is to hide it all. Just hide it. Don't even accept it to deal with it. And yes, I talk about sexual issues as a man of God because that's the problem. We ain't talking about it enough in the church. So I talk about it. And if church folks want to get mad at me, get mad at me. I ain't worried about it because I'm talking the truth. All right. Men try to hide all their feelings. And because they try to hide it, they don't know how to bring it out, which we have to try to fix. Well, I have to try to fix is what I do for a living. All right. Moving on to the next one. I got a couple left. All right. They view their feelings as trivial. That's not that serious. It's all right. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's not that serious. I'm going to be all right. Don't worry about that. Nah, it's all right. I'm okay. And these are the things that you have to understand is that a lot of men will act that way. All right. They will view their feelings as trivial. How many of y'all have seen that? Put a one in the chat. If you know that man is hurting, you know he's hurting, but yet he will sit there and act like, nah, it ain't that serious. Come on. And he'll tell you to stop acting a certain way when you know he's hurting. Let's see. I'm sorry. On a call. I'll hit you right back. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Thank you, Sharice. Thank you, Shonda. And it's important because, again, these are the things we have to look for. When a man is downplaying his emotions, when you know he's emotional, we have to be able to call him on that, not in a negative way, but in a way to try to bring that out. We got to draw that poison out. Get that man to release that so it can be out in the air and we can work on it. This is where, please, anybody watch me, please understand this. God does not make mistakes. The beauty of quality relationships is that what we as men bring to the table and what women bring to the table interlock. When they do, the new situation that is created from a solid union, the new thing that is created between the two people is better than the two separate parts. Now, what do I mean by that? When a man and a woman get together and they have bonded and they have decided that they are going to be what they need to be to each other, what the world gets to experience is something greater than each of them separately. That is why marriage is so important. People have turned it into a financial thing and all this other conversation. Miss me with all that foolishness. When two people love each other and they decide to get together and it's them against the world, they become something new, something more powerful than they could have ever perceived alone. But we've had so many bad marriages that folks don't believe that. I do, because I've lived it. I've seen it. Those degrees and stuff you see on the wall happened after I got out of my bad first marriage and got together with somebody that cared about me and I cared about them. And together we became something stronger. I just happen to be the tip of the arrow that you see. What you don't see is that behind those degrees is a very powerful woman. But they only put one name on a degree. But I don't make the mistake of acting like it's all about me. It's not. If it wasn't for God and my wife, I'm not here. So please understand that we have to find a way to be able to help each other by allowing each other to pour into each other that way. And brothers, if you're watching, we have to understand that it is okay to be emotional and allow others, other women and other men, to help us purge the negativity that comes from inside. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be broken. Because if you have the right people around you, they will draw that poison out and restore you. Just listen to people who have healed. If it wasn't for my father, if it wasn't for my mother, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for my husband, if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for my friends, I would have never been able to get past when I lost my this, or when I went through this, when I lost my job, when I lost my son, when I lost my daughter, when I lost my arm, when I lost my leg, when I lost my heart and had to get a new one. I don't care what the situation is. Listen to what people say got them through their negativity. Somebody else. So men, I offer you this. Please explain to me how you think you can do this alone. Please. Please tell me how you think you can do this alone. No man is an island. And if you were, you'd be the loneliest man on the planet. We all saw Castaway. You don't eat but so many crabs and some foolishness. He was like, look, I'd rather go die out in the water. Now, last three. Many men want negative emotions to disappear quickly. No, they don't disappear. They turn into something more negative. If you are hurting because you are abused, if you are hurting because you are mistreated, if you are hurting because things just didn't work the way that you wanted to, brothers, it doesn't disappear. It turns into something else. It turns into bitterness. It turns into a greater sadness. And if left unchecked, it will turn into depression. And then you will start to become lethal to everybody around you. And you know who the first person is to catch that? Your wife, if you have one, your girlfriend. Second, your children. Third, everybody else around you. Everybody else around you, because you cannot endure negativity. You cannot press negativity down inside you and think that it's going to disappear. It doesn't. Energy doesn't do that. You cannot get rid of energy like that. You have to do something with it. You can't destroy energy. It has to be moved somewhere. So you have to take it out of you and let it go. That's what letting it go means. Let it go. They pile up and because bigger problem. Thank you. Very true, Sean. And thank you so much, Sharice. Very true. And men, you have to understand that you are not the first man going through whatever you think you're going through. There have been other men cheated on. There have been other men who have messed up. There have been other men who have been gotten drunk. There are other men who have lost their job. There have been other men who have failed their business. There's been other men who have been through whatever you're going through. Find the ones who recovered in a positive way to use as positive motivation. That's part of the reason why the Bible is what it is for me. I'm going to say that for me because it ain't for everybody. Is because I get to see stories of other men and women overcoming negative situations through their faith. I use that. And then when I see it manifest in my own life, then I know it to be true. I don't have to fight with anybody if the Bible's real. It's real to me because I've seen it work for me. I can't speak for nobody else. So I don't fight with people on my beliefs. Why? That's stupid. I got to try to explain to you why I believe in God? Nah. Check this out. It works for me. What you do in your house, you do. But for here in mine, like my man Joshua said, we serve the Lord. It is what it is. Take it any way you want to take it. All right, last two. They insist their emotions need fixing. Now, this is a tricky one, right? You will find many brothers who are in an emotionally bad place will say their emotions need fixing, but yet they won't go get help. Ladies, please share this one with me. Just to the ladies. How many men have said to you they know something is wrong, but they won't go get help? This is to all the women that see this now, see it in replay. I don't care when you watch it. How many times have you seen a man look you in your eyes and tell you something is wrong, but yet he won't get help? Tell you he's had problems, tell you that he's been touched sexually, tell you that he's been cheated on, tell you that he's having issues with his baby mama and he can't see his kids, tell you all the things that are wrong emotionally, tell you that he was horrible out in these streets and he was doing whatever to everybody out in these streets, but yet he won't get help. That is another way that men dismiss. They figure if they give the problem a nice word salad, they don't have to eat it. If they just play to tell you what you want to hear. No, you're right, girl. I've been through some things. My father treated me badly. My mother treated me badly. And you right. But yet they don't get help. They actually don't even ask for help. And they're okay with it because that to them is enough. And again, anybody watching this, I don't care when you're watching this, if any of these are hitting home for you, you need to reach out to me. You need to set up a counseling session. This is what I do. But I don't drag you to the counseling table. I don't make demands because it won't work that way. You have to come and work with me because you believe you want to get better. And I'll drive the car. We'll play driving Miss Daisy, except you're not sitting in the back. I ain't no damn chauffeur. You come right up front with me. But I'll do the driving. I'll get you there. And at some point, I'm going to hop out and hand you the keys and tell you to check in with me and tell me how the driving's going. But I can't do it if you don't want help. I can't do it if you don't believe that you have a serious problem that requires professional help. I can't do that. And for some sad reason, many of my brothers, especially brothers of color, don't believe they need help, no matter what I say to them. So this is what I do. I work with women, not leaving the brothers to the side. I work with women because I know women can get their men to listen. Baby, you need to go talk to that man. Baby, we're done if you don't go talk to that man. Baby, I'm not having this conversation with you. You need help. So I have focused on women to give them what's necessary. And I learned this from when I was teaching. I would sometimes have to teach parents through their kids. Hey, take this home to your mom and dad. Read this with them. Because I know they weren't reading on a regular. I'd work it into my homework. And I understood the population that I worked with. So I had to find a way to fix it. Well, it's the same thing as a counselor because that's what they were taught. Yes, Tamari, without question. So that's what I do as a counselor. I have to find a way to fix a problem. So how do I fix it? I work with sisters because it's a double plus for me. By helping sisters heal, they then get the men to come to me. So when the men get healed, they got sisters out there who are healed. Because if I only focused on one and not the other, well, then the seesaw is tilted the wrong way. Last one for today. Because I'm not going to do the second list. I'll do the second list of things that men disapprove. I'll probably do that next Friday. All right, last one. And this is a big one because this was me. And I left this one for last because I understand it wholeheartedly. And to my brothers and sisters who are full-figured, you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. One of the last ways that men ignore when there's something wrong emotionally, right? They minimize their feelings by downplaying it, including joking and laughing about what's wrong. They make what's wrong with them a running joke, or they laugh at it. They make fun of themselves when in actuality, they're dying on the inside. Now, many of my full-figured brothers and sisters understand what that's like. We have made jokes of things that we have not liked about our size while the whole time dying, the whole time doing things that we know were not correct. Thank you for the ones. Thank you, Tamari. Many of us became hypersexual and turned it into a joke because we were unhappy with ourselves. Many of us turned into borderline alcoholics or alcoholics because we tried to drink away everything and then we joked about it. We called ourselves the life of the party. We thought it was okay to get so obliterated that everybody laughed with us when often many were laughing at us. And often it was because we were unhappy with ourselves. Many brothers will turn their pain into running jokes. Come on, man. You know, I ain't like that, man. Yo, you know, I don't cry. And they'll have all these slick little comments and they'll have all these little quips and they'll say all this when in actuality, they are dying inside. Now, let me say this to any brother that's watching me. And this is when you can actually like this and share this. I hope that the list has been rewarding to you. But to any men watching me, I understand all of the pain that you're in. I've experienced it all. But if you are not going to open up, good morning, Tiffany, how are you? If you're not going to open up and have real life conversations with a professional, I don't care what other people are. I do this for a living. And I actually went to school to do this. And I'm still going to school. As I told you before, I have a state exam coming up for another license I'm trying to add to my professional practice. Because the better I get, the more I can help you. But men, please listen. I understand your pain, but I cannot help what you don't allow anyone to help with. Stop listening to your friends who cannot help what they cannot identify. Stop listening to mom and dad who, in many cases, taught you how to feel that pain. And unfortunately, you cannot pray this pain away. So I'm not going to tell you stop listening to your folks at church, but stop turning to churches that don't actually offer mental health services. I provide those too, and I teach churches how to build those too. I'm doing that as well, because there's a way to use the faith to help you purge that. Therapeutic practice and faithfulness go together. They're connected. Just like suicide is in the Bible, and ways to deal with suicide is in the Bible too. Stop turning to sources that do not help. And you wound up coming back home with as much pain as you had when you went to your wife, you went to your girlfriend, you talked to your boys, you went to your church. It's all the same thing. It is. So, ladies, here's my thing. And gentlemen that are watching, anybody watching, I want you to like this, right? And don't like it just because it's me. Like it because you enjoyed it. And I want you to share this. But when you share it, don't just share it. Don't just, hit the share button. That's not helping me, and it's not helping the people on your page. When you share it, tell the people on your page why you shared this. Share it and say, men, you need to listen to this brother. He's here to help you. Share it and say, sisters, listen to this brother because he can help some of the men in your life. Share this and say, yo, to the people in my circle, yo, if you know people like this dude is talking about, yo, check him out. Tell them why. I'll be here to help. I got spots open for them if they're ready. It's what I do. And I'm doing very well at it. And the reason why is because I'm committed to it. I get up every day and I'm trying to figure out. I got a counseling session now in about 20 minutes. Actually, I got 3 today. And even I got one tonight at 9:30 tonight. And I don't take sessions that late. But you know what? When the lady called and said, that's the only time I got this week, Keith, and I'm in a very bad place, I got you. Let's go. So I got 3 counseling sessions today. It was 4, but I had to rearrange the other one. And this is what I do daily. And I work with churches as well. I help churches create mental health ministry. So if you go to a church that does not have a mental health ministry, you need to reach out to me. I have a whole program. I have a whole program that I explain to your pastor what they do. And here's the best part. Your church helps pay for it. Yeah. Don't say, nah, not real. No, yes. I have at least 3 churches in tow right now, and all 3 churches help pay a portion of the mental health expenses so you can get the care that you need. Yes. Delaware, Maryland, and Alabama. And I got a couple other churches on deck that I'm working with. They pay for the counseling services that you need, a portion. So don't tell me it can't happen. So don't say, I don't have insurance, or I'm in another state. I would love to work with you. Really? Then let's work. Let's work. So to the brothers watching, you can either hold on to that pain and continue to age yourself. Let me leave you with this too, right? We all know that men don't outlive women. You know that, right? Okay, but let me give you the numbers. African-American men live to the age of about 71.5, 71 years old. African-American women live to the age of 78. Caucasian men live to about 80. Caucasian women live to about 90. Asian men are closer to Asian women, but Asian women live to about 90 plus, and Asian men are right there around 90. So they're right there. But you know why men die faster? Because of the way we hold on to negativity. So, of course, the lowest on that chart, Latino men, is 73. And they're women about the same as women of color. So Latino men live a little bit longer than African-American men, but they're still low. And part of it is because our inability to embrace the emotional effects of the things that are hurting us. And I'm here for it all. I am here for it all. But I am tired of accepting the excuses that men come up with about why they won't come to counseling. It's weak. Yeah, I said it, brothers. And ain't nothing weak about me. Holding on to your pain is suspect. What's up, Brother Gary? That's a fellow clinician right there who understands what we do. Shout out to you, my brother. But to all the brothers watching, there are men out here who are trained to help, but we cannot help what you're scared to mention. So before I jump off, again, Let me know where you're seeing me from. I would love to know which state that you're seeing me from. Throw that in the chat. It's always great. It's my ego. But I'm going to run over the list real quick. I'm going to run over the list real quick of the things that men use to dismiss their emotions. And next week, I'm going to go over how men disapprove of certain aspects of their emotions. But let me go over this. Number one was they ignore their feelings. Number two, they believe it's important only to be positive and not dwell on the negatives. Number three, become highly intolerant towards feeling sad, angry, scared, etc. Number four, distract themselves from their emotions. Number five, dismiss sadness as weakness. Number six, control or hide their anger. Number seven, hide all their feelings. Number eight, view their feelings as trivial. Number nine, want their negative emotions to disappear quickly. Number 10, insist their emotions need fixing, but actually never do anything. They admit it, but never actually get help. And the last one is they minimize their feelings by downplaying, including joking and laughing about their problems, but never getting help. If anything on this list hits home with you as a man or with the men in your lives, ladies, you have them reach out to me. And if I cannot service them, I will find them. Like you see, Brother Gary Jones just popped into the chat. That is another brother out here doing the things that I am doing. And here's another thing. He is a strong man of faith as well that's out here for you. And this is why when you come and ask for help, it may not come from me. But if I am the facilitator of getting you to help, then you're getting fixed. But we can't do anything if you don't open up and say, I need help. It is okay. And to my brothers and sisters in the faith, right? And I'm going to speak strictly to the men of God out there. For you to deny what you are feeling is denying God himself. Because God said, lay your burden on me. So if you're not going to acknowledge your burden, then what are you saying to the very God that you believe in? God said, bring it to me. How many of us are doing that? And do you know that God is actually what created medicine? Stop it. There is no value to pushing all that's negative inside you and thinking that this shell that was given to us is going to support that. It can't. That is why we have so many psychological breaks. It is why we have so many physical breaks down. And it's why we have such bad social interactions with each other. We're holding on to way too much pain. And pain, like any other form of energy, will reemerge somewhere else. Stick it down inside you, it's coming out through your mouth. It's coming out in your actions. It's coming through your eyes. It's coming out somewhere else, and you're going to hurt somebody else. Hurt people hurt people. Y'all know that, right? But have you ever asked yourself why? Because the longer you hold on to pain, the more that pain searches for other victims. Yep. The more you hold on to pain, the more it searches for others. So now, if you need to speak to me, you can set up a free and private call. Here's my link. Pass this on to anybody who may want it. Okay? If you need to speak to me, this is how you do it. Now, one thing I want to give all my brothers and sisters who are connected to churches, right? Real quick. You heard me mention I create mental health ministries. This is how they get in contact with me. Have your church leadership, have your pastor, have someone from the church reach out to me and just say they want more information. I will send them my brochure. I will set up a call with them and I will have a conversation with them. But that's the information. That's my email. info@bravenconsultants.com. It is my Braven's Church Assistance Program, BCAP. So tell them that they want to reach out. Just simply say mental health ministries in the subjects. I'll take care of it from there. You don't have to leave your name. If you like to, you can. Or you can just hit me up in my inbox and say, Keith, could you talk to my church? Yes, I will. And if you want me to say your name, I'll use it. If not, I'll say someone in your congregation, is interested in seeing this be set up at the church. And I have a whole thing that I can talk to your pastor about. Because helping others emotionally is actually part of the Bible. Don't we hear by the renewing of our mind, we stop right there. How do you renew your mind if you don't address what's wrong? See, the Bible talks about this. If you know what you're looking at. We too busy beating people over the head with our Bibles. Can't do that. Can't do that. And that's not what I do. Now, for me, one of the things that I use, that I lean on, right here, Galatians 6:2. Carrying each other's burdens, in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So by helping each other, we are doing what God has designed us to do. Galatians 6:2. And I have many others, trust me. I have many other scriptures to show what I'm talking about. And I talk about suicide, which is in the Bible. There's actually, where is it at? Where is it at? There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instances of suicide in the Bible. Yeah, it's in there. So don't tell me that it's not. It is. I have the scriptures and everything. I use those too. I actually have a degree in this, believe it or not. Yeah, I have a degree in that. I have a master's degree in this. I have a master's degree in education too. So I don't come to the table without receipts. But I still can't help if you don't actually ask for it. So again, that's a scripture that I lean on. I'll give you this here again. Have your church reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with them. All right. And lastly, again, if you need conversation yourself, that's my information right there. Okay. Now, let me get ready to jump off here to get ready for my call in 10 minutes. So remember this, guys. My hashtags are simple. I have two. We can fix this and bring me your pain. I'm going to tell you what they mean. I honestly believe that when two or more people get together with the idea of fixing what is wrong, we can fix it. Because I believe we will come up with a solution or a direction to take ourselves in. But I cannot do any of that until you bring me your pain. I'm asking for it. I am saying, ladies, men, bring me your pain. I am asking for all that smoke. Because once you do, you have done the hard part. It's now for me to show up and do my job. I can't do me and help you until you do for you. You see? And when we get together, what's going to happen? We're going to fix this. So those are my two hashtags. I don't care who else uses them. I don't care what other folks are doing. I don't care who else is doing what I do. There's many places selling hamburgers. You think I worry about that? I go where I like. And you will learn, and working with me, I am here to help. And if I'm not the one for you, okay, I'll refer to somebody else. Brother Gary Jones right here. Check out his page. You will see he is a very solid brother, gifted at what he does. And why don't I have a problem promoting him? Because there's more than enough help out here. There's more than enough for everybody if they actually allow that in here. But that's a whole nother live for another day. I don't stress who doesn't want to work with me. I just simply want to see people get better. And I want to see the people who are doing the work get the work that's necessary. I don't worry about the rest. Same way when I wrote books. And speaking of that, I just finished up a book and a study guide for somebody else. And I'm finishing up 2 other books too. Yeah, I still do the publishing thing. Yeah, it's one of my streams of income. I don't talk about it because it's not my main stream of income, but I'm still doing it. And I got like 3 other books I'm working on. But again, that's another live for another day. My publishing is my third tertiary. Not even that. It's not even one of the 5 incomes. It's actually number 6 or 7. I'm not sure. And you need to have multiple streams of income, but we can talk about that another day. All right, guys, I want you to have a wonderful day. I have to get ready for this counseling call so I can actually give the help that I'm talking about. But you have all my information. Remember, if you need to reach me on my link, let me see if I have my what's name here so I can leave it with you. In all of my profiles, there it is. In all of my profiles, all you have to do is find the Linktree link. All my information is there. Please share this. Please like this. Please let somebody know why you're sharing it, and I will take it from there. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'll see you next Friday. I probably will not be on until then. I got work to do.